It's powerful, elusive, and almost mythic, the jaguar, king of the American jungle. Once, this predator roamed from Argentina to Arizona, owning 2 continents in silent dominance. But in the US, jaguars disappeared nearly a century ago, hunted, feared, and forgotten. Now, scientists and conservationists ask a startling question. What if jaguars started breeding in US forests again? Not just passing through, but truly coming back. Would we celebrate a comeback, or fear the return of a top predator? To answer that, we first need to understand the jaguar's history. For thousands of years, jaguars roamed the southern and southwestern United States. From the dense forests of Louisiana to the deserts of Arizona, they thrived. Indigenous cultures honored them as gods. Spanish explorers documented them in early colonial records. But by the 20th century, jaguars were nearly eradicated from US soil. Killed for trophies. Shot by ranchers. Pushed out by development and habitat loss. By 1960, jaguars were declared functionally extinct north of the Mexican border. Then something changed. In the early 2000s, motion-activated cameras in Arizona's Santa Rita Mountains captured images of a lone male jaguar, dubbed El Jefe by locals. He wandered the rugged terrain for years, becoming a symbol of wild resilience. El Jefe vanished in 2015, but other jaguars followed. They came from Mexico, crossing back into ancestral territory. And now, scientists believe if conditions are right, they could begin breeding again. So what would it mean if jaguars re-established themselves in the US? It would begin with territory. Jaguars need dense cover, fresh water, and plenty of prey. Arizona, New Mexico, and even parts of Texas still offer viable habitat. Deer, javelinas, and smaller mammals are abundant in protected areas and mountain ranges. If a breeding female crossed the border, and stayed, a new generation of jaguars could be born in the American wild. Ecologically, their return would be powerful. Jaguars are apex predators, sitting at the top of the food chain. Their presence controls prey populations and keeps ecosystems in balance. Like wolves in Yellowstone, they could reduce overgrazing and protect forest undergrowth. They hunt selectively, avoiding population crashes in prey species. And unlike mountain lions, jaguars can take down larger prey, making them vital for maintaining healthy trophic layers in wild systems. But their return would spark controversy. Jaguars don't recognize political borders, but humans do. If they begin breeding in US forests, land use debates would ignite. Ranchers fear for cattle. Developers face restrictions. Hunters lose access to deer populations. And in many rural communities, large predators still spark fear, not awe. Reintroducing jaguars, or even protecting those that naturally return, would require expanded habitat corridors, conservation easements, and public education. It would mean lawsuits, land battles, political fights over federal protection, and deep, emotional debates about what kind of wilderness America should protect. But there's hope. Recent surveys show public support for jaguar conservation is growing. Young generations are more open to predator reintroduction and rewilding. Ecotourism could rise, bringing visitors and revenue to rural towns. And in time, communities could learn to coexist with big cats, as others have worldwide. There's also the cultural power of the jaguar. For centuries, it has symbolized strength, mystery, and transformation. In Mayan and Aztec traditions, jaguars were guardians of the underworld. In modern conservation, they're a reminder that wildness can return if we allow it. If jaguars began breeding in US forests again, it wouldn't just be an ecological event, it would be a cultural awakening. But the barriers are still real. Border walls between the US and Mexico fragment jaguar migration routes. Wildlife corridors are blocked by roads, fences, and urban sprawl. Poaching and retaliatory killings remain threats, especially for females and cubs. If we want jaguars to return and stay, we must act boldly. Remove physical barriers. Fund corridor programs. Partner with Mexico. Protect remote areas from development. And most of all, learn to live with predators, not just admire them from afar. So, what if jaguars started breeding in US forests again? Then the American wild wouldn't just survive, it would deepen, sharpen, and evolve. We would gain a predator, yes, but also a protector of balance and biodiversity. We'd face challenges, of policy, of fear, of change. But we'd also rediscover a truth lost in steel and concrete. That the wild does not need to be tamed to be valuable. That some roars belong in our forests, not just in history books.